Now, I'm not going to go through Nick's bio. I think you can find out for yourself a little bit about Nick if you don't already know him. Instead, what I'd like to do is really tell you a little bit about what I think about Nick and what Nick has done for us. I think Nick's looking a little nervous. What's he going to say?
What's coming next?
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I think everybody else that's joined this webinar, going back to March of last year when we had the first lockdown, I think most of us were at the very least concerned about what would happen to business, whether we would lose clients or not. And I know in the legal world, to a great degree, it depended on the categories of law you practice. Anyway, the positive side, I think for many of us, was that it gave us a little bit of thinking time, a bit of breathing space, just to think through strategy and what we can do to attract new clients and retain existing clients. Now, one of the things that we decided to do is take on Nick as an advisor. I wanted to hear somebody else's thoughts who was involved in the sector, so could give me relevant constructive criticism and some relevant ideas. Whereas when I've used a mentor before who wasn't in the legal world, and this was, I think, funded through Growth Accelerator, I'm afraid that I ended up being the mentor to him, and it really wasn't a productive relationship. And I think part of the problem with some of these so-called business coaches is they may not really understand the business that you're in, i.e. the business of law. So I'm delighted we've got Nick. I will give a plug to a very good book, which I'm just holding up now, The Law Firm Growth Formula. I think it's excellent, and I recommend it to anyone. So I'm going to hand over to Nick. I will stay throughout the webinar, and I'll come back on at the end just to deal with any questions.
Perfect.
And say goodbye. Please do use the Q&A box for any questions you've got, or if you want to make any comments, you can use the chat facility, etc. I think, at least. And yeah, enjoy. Over to you, Nick.
Thanks, David. Really appreciate the introduction. Very kind, and it's a pleasure working with you. Welcome everybody to today's session. I'm going to want it to be as interactive and useful as possible, and Google Ads is one of the things we're going to talk about, and it's quite technical, so I've tried to make it as straightforward as possible so you can see exactly what we're talking about. And I'm going to do something later which will allow me to sort of do some live reviews and talk you through what I'm thinking when I look at some online marketing, what I do to improve it, so you can get some real specifics from this, hopefully. Let me cover what we're going to cover today. Going to touch briefly on marketing fundamentals. Those of you who were on my last call with DG Legal will have heard about that, so I'm just going to touch on that again because it's important when it comes to winning clients the easiest ways. I'm going to show you how this works, why it works, why it doesn't work, and then at the end we're going to play some pay-per-click bingo. And I've got an offer at the end. I'll send afterwards, if you've registered already, which you have because you're here, you'll get an offer for me to do a personal review of your website or any of your online marketing, or if you're not doing it, to talk about what that could do for you. Christelle, I think there might be some people unmuted. If you could take care of that to cut the background noise for everyone. Thank you. Very briefly about me, because David didn't introduce my background. I was a solicitor for some years. Since 2003, I've been a full-time marketing consultant for law firms. The most important thing is that I've spent my own money promoting legal services, quite a lot of it. When I look at that number, it makes me flinch. I manage a spend of around 2 million a year marketing legal services. A lot of that is online because, of course, that's so easy to do and automate and leave the law firm owner to run their law firm. All of my advice is based on getting consistent results for law firms and everything I've written about in the book, which David kindly mentioned. So looking at the fundamentals, before getting into the detail, this is what I say to all my clients. There's ways of doing marketing, there's a hard way of doing it, and there's the easy way of doing it. And I don't know whether I'd call myself lazy, but I definitely prefer the easy way. And what I mean by easy is clients coming to find you, then the services you provide at the precise moment in time that they are ready to engage them. And that point's key, because if you always ask that question, is someone looking for me here at this moment in time, should I be advertising here? It leads to an easy answer. So for example, does anyone ever go to Facebook to find a solicitor? And the answer to that is no. You might see an advertisement for a solicitor and might be vaguely interested, but you're not primarily looking for a solicitor when you go to Facebook, Twitter, when you read your local paper or your national paper. You haven't gone there with any buying intent, and that's the key thing. I want people to find me when they've got buying intent. So for my services, marketing law firms, if someone types in, how do I get clients as a law firm owner? I want to appear. I want them to find me at that moment in time, because they are looking for answers. They're looking for my help. And that's exactly what I do. And it's exactly the same for you. If you can find people that are looking for your services and appear at a moment in time that they are looking for you, then you have such an easier way of marketing your business. And that's why I call it Easy Life Marketing. There are two types of marketing. Easy Life Marketing is what we call attraction marketing. So people come to you when they're ready. Interruption marketing is all the other stuff. And one of the times I spent my own money promoting a legal brand, we tested all of the noisy advertising. So we did national newspaper advertising. We did PR with a massive London agency promoting legal services that cost around £5,000 a month from memory. And we spent a lot on TV advertising. All of those were interruption marketing, because people didn't go to the paper to find legal services. They didn't go to Facebook. They didn't go to the television, but they saw the ad and some were interested vaguely, but they didn't have the buyer intent. So I'm only interested in my misspelling of, is that misspelling of attraction? It looks worse on my screen. In attraction marketing, people coming to you at the precise moment in time that they're looking for you. So let's have a look at what we're going to be talking about and why it's the easiest way to win clients. And the primary thing is that if you, like David talked about, if you say, I'd like some more clients, I'd like to do something else, you could get Google Ads up and running. And if your website's set up properly, I talk about websites a lot in the book, and I'll touch on that in some live reviews if you'd like me to. So if you want to look at your website later, type that into the chat box and I gladly would do that. But if your website is set up right, you could today advertise on Google Ads and today your telephone will ring. It's that simple. And often it is that quick. Sometimes it takes a while to bed in, but certainly within a month, you'll know that you're getting inquiries. I've had clients set up campaigns and immediately generate inquiries. So it's very good. It's very instant. What do Google Ads look like? Well, here's an example. If I typed in conveyancing solicitor Reading at the top there, you've got an advertisement for conveyancing solicitors. Now I'm going to touch on reasons solicitors always tells me. I've spoken since 2003 to well over 1,000 solicitors, probably many more. And many of them will say to me, well, I never click on these ads, so that means nobody else does. I even have a client that's been advertising on Google since 2008. And spends a considerable amount each month, but still doesn't believe Google Ads works, but couldn't not do it because it's too important to their business in terms of delivering clients. But they still don't get it, don't understand why people do click on these, because they avoid them. If they see the word ad, they scroll down and go to the others. But Google makes $32 billion a quarter from Google Ads by and large. It's their main breadwinner. So it does work, but I'll come back to the other reasons why solicitors tell me Google Ads won't work. But it really, really does. And if you, until now, you've thought that, then you're in for a great surprise if you decide to give it a go and get some clients coming through the door. So let's have a look at why Google Ads does work. So this is obviously a normal Google search. Tells you if you put into Google the word solicitor, and bear in mind, Americans don't use that term. It's used in Australia and New Zealand, but not many other places. 90 million results. So that's quite a lot of searches. I've got a search tool that I use, search engine marketing tool. So I dive into a bit more detail, and it gives me there the monthly search volume, find a solicitor, 15,000 a month, 10,000 for the Law Society Find a Solicitor website, which does seem to get good views, and solicitor near me. So you can see there's plenty of volume there. If we look at this in a bit more detail as well, and go into the conveyancing solicitor mark, then plenty of search volume around there. You know, you could appear for that conveyancing solicitor Reading search. You could be up and running if you're in Reading in no time, and you can target locally so that you only appear in certain areas where your clients are. Immigration solicitor, again, good monthly search volumes. And this is just a small snapshot of the monthly search volume. There's all sorts of keywords around there. So in this niche, you might also have people looking for spouse visas, tier 1 and 2 visas. So obviously this is just a general brand. When you dive into Google Ads, you add more specific search terms to make sure you can get the volumes of traffic around it. If you're a divorce solicitor, plenty of traffic for that as well. My personal feeling is that there's going to be a pent-up demand for this service after the last year and several months of the latest lockdown. So I see a good. It's quite macabre talking about, isn't it? But it is what some people do. I see a busy summer ahead because there's going to be a lot of people that are looking to change their current situation once lockdown properly ends, assuming it actually does. We're allowed to go out once again. And then commercial property. So it's very much not a case of being just for business to consumer services. Business to business works very well as well. Certainly in things like that I talked before, it's worth touching on. I say you have two types of marketing DNA. There's marketing DNA nurture and now. For a now service, that's where I need a solicitor immediately. So that'll be a conveyancing solicitor, a divorce solicitor, commercial property solicitor if I'm trying to get a lease. So those are all now services, and Google Ads works a treat for them. If you've got a nurture service, like I have, so no one wakes up and says, I'm going to buy a marketing consultant today. They say, how do I get more clients? How do I find more clients? Then you very much go for longer term marketing. So you get people to download something of value onto your email list, talk to them till they're ready. They understand what you do and what you're going to buy from them. So certainly for some of David's services, if someone's looking to start a law firm, if he offers something, a guide to setting up a law firm or a checklist, that will get people that understand how he can help them onto his email list. He can talk them until they're ready to actually get going. Same with things like Lexel. But if you're a solicitor doing divorce conveyancing, it's instant. Business to business sometimes is a nurture service because your clients might already have a solicitor. So you need to offer them something of value, keep talking to them until they're ready to engage your services. But it does work for business to business and business to consumer. And I thought I'd list the main, I think I've got 10 reasons why Google Ads is so good for solicitors. So I'm going to run through those. And say we're going to do some live reviews later, which should be the fun part. So easy life marketing we've touched on. It's got buying intent. Someone heads to Google, types in, think about your own search journey. If you're looking for something or someone to help you, you go to Google, you type in what you're looking for. If something matches what you want, you give them a call or you order online and away you go. So Google Ads, pay-per-click marketing very much has buying intent behind it. This one, I mean, as a marketing man, if you'd have told me that one day there'd be a method of marketing where you only paid if it actually worked, if it made your phone call or got someone to your website, I'd thought you were crazy. But that's exactly how Google Ads works. All the time your ads appear when no one clicks on it, you don't pay a penny. As soon as someone clicks on it and they go through to your website, which is obviously the key objective, then away you go. So you only pay if it works. You could try and get that with the TV companies, they won't be interested. Google Ads, that's exactly how it works. It's instant. As I said, you could start Google Ads today and you could start talking to prospects tomorrow. So if you're in a position where you need more clients, it really can turn things around quickly. And it's very easy to measure return on investment. If you're spending £1,000 a month, you should be able to expect a minimum of 3,000 back. But that could be 20,000, 30,000. It could be more. Excuse me. So it's very easy to measure what you're spending. And I always say, this is a non-pay-per-click thing, but if you're a law firm owner, every single month you should be looking at how many inquiries you had last month, how many of those converted. So you should know what your starting point is. And if it's say 100 inquiries and you convert 20, you've got a 20% conversion rate. That should be better. I generally say for niche services, it can be as much as 90%. For general services, including conveyancing, more competitive searches, more competitive legal services, you can still get up to beyond 50% with a good website, good conversion processes in place. But the starting point for anything I say is measure where you are now, know what your numbers are when it comes to how many inquiries you get each month and how many convert, because obviously solicitors are focused on billing as one of their key targets. That's fine, but that's the end of matter process. If you take care of the work coming into your firm, the billing will take care of itself. As long as you or your fee earners are doing their chargeable hours or getting through the cases, if it's a fixed price service, that will take care of itself as long as the inbound leads are coming in. So if you're not yet measuring that, you absolutely must. Because it just makes your life so much easier. And once you know that if your average take on per month is 20 cases and you want to grow your turnover by 10,000 a month, which you know is 5 cases, you then know I only need to buy in 5 cases. If my conversion rate is 20%, then I'm going to need to quickly work out what's that, 40, I think, then another 20 inquiries. I'm probably not doing that right, but what I'm saying is if you know your number, it's very much easier for you to work out how many new inquiries you need to get the files you need to get your extra 10,000 of billing a month. And then it's just a mathematical exercise. So I mentioned ROI, you've got to know where you are now, and then you can turn on Google Ads and see where you get to and see what the difference is, and you know what's working for you. Very good with Google, you can cap your investment. So you can say, I don't want to spend more than this a month, and it will set a limit for you. So you know exactly where you are. So if you haven't got too much to spend, then you can certainly start small and test it out. You have to be very, very detailed if you do it that way to make sure it works for you. And this is the ones I love. Being from a small firm background, I like the fact that you can compete with the big boys out there, the law firms with hundreds of thousands a month to spend. You can compete with them and you can beat them because Google Ads rewards you doing the job well. And when I've launched those legal brands in the past, we've outsourced to a played like a big boy, outsourced to an agency doing Google Ads. And they've done a really bad job. I've taken it off them and just done it better myself, which is why I got into Google Ads management. Because I realized that the biggest agency in the UK, I could beat their results because I understood legal services better and people's buying behavior better. And one of my clients, we did regularly beat the big boys. And this is one of what he said to say about it. And this was in the personal injury sector, which there isn't a more competitive area online. The average cost per click can go up to 40, 50 pounds. So it's very expensive, not to be done lightly. But what was great is that we did get results and we did beat the big boys consistently, and did so well that in the end, my client sold his firm. So I think you'd say that was a success. Not for me because I lost a client, but he was a great client for many years before he went, and it was lovely to get him a great result. But I do love that fact that if you're a smaller firm and you're thinking, well, I can't compete with them, they've got more budget. You can absolutely compete and beat bigger players if you do it really well. We'll look at what that involves. It's an interesting one, this, but Google does reward you if you get better at using its platform. And it's not a straightforward platform, which is why I've said to you at the end, I'll give you a link if you want me to personally look at your campaign. I won't do that today because it's so complicated. Those that don't know Google Ads would look at it and their heads would probably explode. So I don't want to bore them with that, but I'll do the fun front end stuff. But if you do your Google Ads well, if you set it up well and you make the pages well and everything I'm going to show you now, Google actually says you can pay less. You can pay less to be at the top of Google than someone who's prepared to pay more but doesn't do very well. So that is a lovely part of it, which is why you're able to beat the bigger players, because you can go to a different level of detail that makes it perform so much better. But that point, just to confirm, really, you can get to the top without paying more. And again, you couldn't do that you couldn't say, well, I want to be on telly more than one of the betting companies that are always on telly. When you're watching David's Leicester play football, I want to be on telly more than them, but I don't want to pay as much. There's no way that would happen. TV companies would laugh you off the telephone, and that'd be the end of that. But that's exactly what you can do with Google. You can pay less to get to the top, so you can beat the bigger players, lesser investment. You can test small before going big. as long as you're measuring your numbers. And the return on investment you can get from Google Ads is silly, really. You can get from 3 to 1. I always say start with 3 to 1. If you're going to spend £1,000, you want at least 3,000 in fees coming back. If your clients give you a repeat business, you can probably spend more. You can get a better return than you could accept a lesser return than 3 to 1, even break even 1 to 1, because you're going to get the repeat business. But generally, I try and aim 3 to 1 as a starting point, and then the sky is the limit. It varies case by case, but I've had clients easily get 30, 60 to 1 return on investment. And then solicitors being solicitors, some of them say, well, it's all good, great return on investment, but do I always have to keep spending this money? With Google Ads, absolutely. If you want the traffic every month, you want the clients every month, then you've got to keep paying Google. But as long as that's working for you and putting more into your bank that's taken out, you will continue, which is why, as I say, I've had clients doing Google Ads since 2008, I think, which is when I started offering it as a done for you service. Let me just cover off before we do some live reviewing. Let me cover off some of the misconceptions about Google Ads, and I mentioned one already. Solicitors often say to me, I don't click on Google Ads, so no one else does, and that's a common problem with any marketing. People assume that everyone behaves in exactly the same way as they do, and that's very much not the case. And the beauty of something like Google Ads is you can test it yourself. You can see if it works. You can see if you're getting more inquiries than you used to get, and you will know if it's working. But don't decide yourself. Same with websites. People always say, oh, well, my friend says this about my website, that. I don't care what your friend says or what the web design company says. I care if it makes your phone ring. And that's all you should say about all of your marketing. Test it, and if it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't, change it, improve it. But don't worry about what anyone else says or what you think. The only way to work out whether marketing works is to run it, test it, see what the results are, see what happens. Does it make your phone ring? Does it put more clients into your system? Christelle, can you hear me all right? Just got to note that my system was, my connection was unstable, but it should be fine. Not generating enough clicks. There's a tipping point. If you can get to 300 clicks a month, you normally get a consistency of inquiries. So 300 clicks seems to be that tipping point. If you're only getting between 20 and 50 clicks, and I often speak to solicitors and they say, well, I'm spending about 100, 200 pounds a month, you often don't get to the point where you'll get an inquiry. So some months you might get 2 or 3, and other months you might get none. When you get to the point you get 300 clicks a month, you normally have a consistent volume of inquiries, which is really good. Excuse me. And then the other problem with Google Ads is Google is a bit bizarre, really. I think they must be hard up and they're trying to make a bit more cash. 32 billion a quarter is obviously not cutting it for them. So they have a simplified model of Google Ads called Google Ads Express, where you can't really work out what you're spending money on. Google decides it all for you. You can't improve it. You can't make the campaign work harder for you. Bang, that's it. And if you've got a Google Ads campaign and you can't see what keywords you're spending money on, just have a look in the URL address bar at the top. And if it says AW Express, you're in big trouble. I'd pause it, have a chat with me. I'll tell you how to convert it into a proper Google Ads campaign, because you won't get results with Google Ads Express. It just doesn't work like that. So what are you actually looking for with Google Ads online marketing? What are you trying to do that means that your things are working for you? And for me, the holy grail is that you get to the position where if someone goes looking for you or the service you provide, you are found in every place on the screen. Google domination. Then there's 3 key places where you want to be found. The Google ad at the top, so someone's putting law firm marketing, solicitors marketing ideas, your business listing organically, and then your Google My Business listing over there. And each of these are important. I should say I've doctored this. I'm not trying to hold out that was. I do get in 3 positions, but I was just wanted to get something to show you what I meant. So what I'm looking for is for you, for my clients, is I want you in all 3 positions. So if someone goes looking, if you're conveyancing solicitor Reading, I want you here, conveyancing solicitor Reading, I want you here, and I want you over on the right-hand side. So they find you in all 3 places. And the people say, well, why would I bother doing Google Ads if I'm already here organically and over on the right-hand side? And I say, because you just want them to see you 2-3 times. Remember, they used to say you need to see a message 7 times before someone will act on it. With Google, it's quicker than that. But I want someone to see, oh, there's that ugly bloke again. There's Samson Consulted. There's Samson. Do you know what? If he's in every one of those spots, he must know something about law firm marketing. And that's what I want the same for, for all of my clients. David said he's one. And so, David, you put in SRI compliance, you get David's ad here, and then the SRI as you'd expect, and then you get David right below it. And that is a real search. I haven't doctored that. That's straight in Google. Now I know David's Google My Business page will come up other times. It didn't on this one, but it will at other times. But he's there in both places. So if you're thinking, I need someone brilliant to help me with compliance, your natural and correct assumption is that you have to use DG Legal, which you should. Because he knows his stuff and he's a nice guy. And if you don't mind the fact that he supports Leicester, then all's good. But that's what you're after with Google. You want your website to be doing well organically. You want your Google ads to be doing well, and you want your Google My Business listing to be doing well. You do want, and I know I get this from some people. They say, do you know, now I had to have a call with you because you're just everywhere. I keep seeing you, and I just thought, just get it over and done with. Let's have a chat. And some of those people have become my best clients. So I beat them in submission by following around the web. So let's have a look at the basics of Google Ads campaign. And then we'll start looking at this in more detail and giving you the examples, as I say, because if I just take you into the back end of Google Ads, it really will make you very tired. And it's only 1:30, so you've got some work to do later. So you have a campaign. This is where you set up the basics of where you want it to appear. So is it UK based? Is it worldwide? Is it just around your town? You can set up all of this in your campaign. Then beneath that, you have ad groups. And these are where you put in your keywords, and I'll show you a bit more of this in a minute. And then you have your advertisements, which send people off to your website. So that's the sort of basic structure. Basically, you set it up in a campaign, you have ad groups, and then you put in keywords. So a conveyancing solicitor Reading would be a phrase that you target if you're after that. Immigration solicitor Leicester, business startup solicitor, wherever you are, Bristol. So those would be your keywords. And then you want the adverts to match those keywords. So someone's seeing you've typed in what they're looking for, they see an advert that triggers and says exactly what they're looking for, and they go through to your website, and that's really what you're after. And we're going to have a look now. So what I would like you to do is type in the service you provide and where you are based, town or city, and let's do some live pay-per-click bingo. Let me review exactly what I find live, so it's not pre-planned, and tell you what I like, what could be better, and what we can improve. So tell me, who's going to be first? Someone just type in where you are and what you do. And let's go and have a look and see which of your competitors are turning up or whether you're turning up. So I've already done David SRA compliance. David's up there with the Google Ads, and then he's there as well. Has anyone got a service for me and where they are based? And let's see what your competition are doing and tell you if you could beat them. Thank you. There's one. Here we go. Thank you very much. I thought I was on my own there. That's going to be fun. So let's do. I've asked to review this one. Nice. So we're coming up in the Google My Business listing. We've got 9 reviews. We definitely want to collect some more of those. But are we coming up twice? DD Rush Legal. So we're coming up there and there. So we're doing well with both of those positions. Let's now let's see if we can get some Google Ads ones up. So next one, family law, Newcastle upon Tyne. So I've typed in family law Newcastle upon Tyne. So the thing with Google is you're looking to match the search that someone puts in. So what's interesting here, we've got some good, I love it. I love doing live reviews because you always find something new. So the first one, perfect. Endeavour Law, good job. Typed in family law Newcastle upon Tyne, got family law Tyne and Wear because you wouldn't fit Newcastle upon Tyne in that first line. So they've worked out that someone knows where they are actually Tyne and Wear. Is that slightly different? Tyne and Wear, but you've got family law, you've got Tyne and Wear. what if you look at the one below, as I say, Google rewards you if you put an ad that very matches very closely what someone types in. Looking for free advice, simple and stress-free divorce. I haven't put anything about that in there. So I know the click-through rate, which is important to Google, is going to be less for that ad than it will be for the one above it, because they've not put in the keywords. That, and the reason that happens is, I said you have campaigns and ad groups. Ad groups need to have small amounts of keywords. So you would have an ad group with family law, Newcastle, family lawyers, Newcastle, possibly. But that would be it. You keep those very tight keywords so that your ad copy can match precisely what someone types into Google. And then if we click through to the website, I'm not going to click on the ads because that's not a very good thing to do, but let's follow this journey through. And of course, always type badly when being watched. Christelle will know that. I used to watch her when she was my legal secretary, and she'd make so many mistakes when I stood over her. It's such good fun. So I'm sure, I can't see her now because I've got my screen limited, but I'm sure she's making faces at me. But hey, I can get away with it when I'm on live one of these. Right, where will we go? So what am I looking for on a landing page? I'd like to be able to get to a services page. I can't even see a services page on here. That's very interesting. So there should always be a services page. So divorce solicitors at transparent prices. If I typed in that ad, family law Newcastle upon Tyne, this page should say family law Newcastle upon Tyne. So important, because Google will score you higher and give you more more clicks for less cost. So we haven't done very well there. If this is their landing page, I haven't clicked on their ad because I don't want to spend their money. No, but it is just going to that homepage. So that should, so what it would mean is if we put divorce solicitors, Newcastle upon Tyne, we'd want a page that we sent them to as well. So that's important. Request free callback, I would always put make a free inquiry, because I've tested both. People don't like filling in request free callback, but they'll gladly make a free inquiry. Exactly the same thing. Same thing's going to happen, but for some reason you'll get more people filling it in if you change it to make a free inquiry. And then again, reading this copy, we need to see Newcastle mentioned. We need to see family law, and we're not seeing that on here. We've got some packages. We get a slightly different page here, and it doesn't sort of say too much about what we do next. And one of the things I touched on before is, the idea of people don't buy your services from pictures, they buy it from content. So someone's going to read all of this content, and they're going to see what your premium service involves, and they're going to come down the bottom. And at this point, you don't want to send me off to find out more, because I've already gone to this page. There should be a talking call to action, I call it. So it should be make a free inquiry to find out more about our Premium Divorce Plus. Call us on this phone number, hyperlinked so I can touch it from my mobile. Email us on this address, or complete a free inquiry linking to the free inquiry page, because you'll get more forms filled in. People won't scroll back up once they're down at this point. So you link them off to a page, not your contact page, because then they'll get confused, start looking at your address and not do anything. Just an inquiry on it. They fill it and they send it. You've got a new prospect. Bang. That's exactly what we're after. So reasons that would definitely be improved. And I've taken over a lot of campaigns from other people doing Google Ads, and it's this detail that makes the difference. So they might be getting some results now, but as soon as they have better landing pages, better calls to action, they'll get even better results. Let's have a look at the next one on pay-per-click bingo. Let's go. Let's try a slightly different one. I assume that should be firm. So no one advertising. It's interesting. So either means there's not enough search volume, so no one's advertising for it, or just a missed opportunity. But let's go through the same process anyway. So if we were looking for a commercial contracts firm, Manchester, then commercial contract solicitors, that's quite good. They're doing what we say. Let's click through to their page and see what we think about this. We've got commercial contracts mentioned again, which is why it's at the top of Google. Perfect. Thank you so much for popping this up. We have to have these cookie things. It's not the most important thing on your site. Put it at the bottom of the screen, please. It should not stop my journey for reading the content, because it's now annoyed me. And I'm a special case. I get annoyed very easily on websites because I spend too much time on them. But yeah, have that at the bottom. We've got to have it at the bottom, absolutely. So we get to the content. Image isn't too big, which is good. Often images are far too big, take up too much of the screen. Get me to the content is the most important thing. That big banner could be reduced in size, and then we come to the content. But we don't do a call to action at the end. And you might be listening, and well, look, you can do all these at the bottom there. Yep, absolutely you can, but you've got to give me a talking call to action. You're talking to me as a human having a chat with someone else. Why choose us? How can we help? Make a free inquiry, Nick. Call us on this number, email us, or complete a free online inquiry. Makes a big difference. Good news, they've got live chat. I'm not overly enamored with that service provider. There's other ways of getting it managed for you 24/7, which can get better results. But live chat as a thing is a very good thing to do. Not to do it yourself because you'll miss too many chats, and definitely to have it 24/7 because the amount of inquiries my clients get in the evenings and weekends by having live chat managed for them is staggering. So it works a treat. So that was an interesting exercise. No Google Ads, but you can see what's excuse me, see that could definitely be improved, that landing page. Have we got any more in here? Keep them coming. Oh, immigration law. Ilford, let's have a look at this one. So that we'll look at that. That's pretty good. 4.9, 154 immigration lawyer, and coming right out at the top there. Second one's 45, very good. Visa professionals, only one at the moment. Keep working on that, and I'll get somewhere. Interestingly, no one Google Ads on this, which strikes me as odd because I know it's a very competitive area. I know there's plenty of work, so it would definitely be worth. If the firm that put in that, Tina, if you're not yet using Google Ads, you could be ahead of Kyani, and you could be ahead of Star of Service and Yell.com, who can believe they're still going. You could be ahead of all of those firms by being at the top of that list. Let's have a look at their listing. So while I'm on this, because Google My Business is fantastic. And if I offer a service, which I'm not selling, but just to mention, called Marketing for Solicitors. I'll give you full training on getting your Google My Business listing working. And if you haven't got the budget for Google Ads, you 100% should absolutely properly dominate your Google My Business listings. If you're a local firm, it is so powerful that I can't believe it's still free. I'm sure that will change one day. But like in the early days of Google Ads, you could spend 1 penny on a click and get people to your website. At the moment, if you dominate locally for your Google Ads, and I'll give you the full training on how to do that, you can get business straight through. And often people will just phone. A couple of things to mention. It's all about the reviews, and people always say, Nick, should I go with review solicitor sites or what's the other one, Trustpilot? No, don't go with any of them because they charge you. Because if you come back to my attraction marketing point at the beginning, you want people finding you with buyer intent. They don't go to Trustpilot with buyer intent. They don't go to Review Solicitor with buyer intent. They go to Google with buyer intent. So if you do your Google My Business listing right, you're going to be seen here with all your stars showing how brilliant you are. It will bring work to you. Google My Business is free and it brings work to you. The other review sites paid for won't bring work to you. They might help to convert clients that come to you, but I'm always dubious about that because they normally ask that you link through to the review site. And when you link through to the review site, your perfect prospect that's walked onto your site and thinks this sounds great, look at those reviews and let's have a look at them, goes off to the review site, and then they can search for another system with loads of good reviews. So now you're in a race of one of many, whereas if you're on Google and they go straight through to your Google My Business page, it's one of one. So Google My Business is stunning. I thoroughly recommend it. Let's have a look at another one. And what I'm surprised about is when Google Ads don't come up for this. Okay, that's Endeavour Law again. So they're coming up number one there. It looks like, I'm hovering, it's still going to the home page. So again, we've put in a totally different search term, but we still look like we're going to the home page. So that's not going to work. No one else appearing. So if you're a family law firm in Reigate, then there's definitely opportunity there. Let's go. Someone else wants to do Leicester. Don't tell me. Endeavour Law. No, nobody. So Google My Business coming up, only 8 reviews, 58 4-star. Need a better review process to get that above 4. And and any ads down the bottom. Endeavour Law, there they are. Obviously, very keen to snaffle up all the family traffic. And then let's have a look at this one, familylawconsultancy.com/divorce advice. It will take me longer, but as I say, I don't like to click on people's ads because it's just not very ethical. Familylawconsultancy.com. Right, so let's think about our search. I've typed in family law Leicester. We're not at the top, which tells me probably we could have a better campaign, get better results. We will be at the top. And then we come through here. Oh, COVID notice, almost as bad as the almost as bad for me as the cookie notice is a COVID notice. I would say by now, if you have a COVID notice on your website, you should remove it. I think everyone expects everyone to be trading at the moment, and again, it shouldn't be the most important thing. Now I haven't found the page that I was looking for. Let's try and again, this is where's the. I always find it surprising if I come on here. Let's go back to the home page. All right, now we've got some pages. There should always be a services nav at the top navigation item. Navigation is one of the key things. I should be able to easily go around your site, find every page I'm looking for, and got home, about, fees, reviews, contact, job, no services page. So definite missed opportunity there. Got my friends at Trustpilot there, 99 reviews. Google My Business, because if I click on this, let's just prove the point. Off I go to Trustpilot. Oh, let's go for family solicitor. Leicester. See what else we can find. Haven't found me anybody, but I have done that before. But the point is, once you send me off to Trustpilot, if you spend it, so if you're spending money on Google Ads, the last thing you want to do once you get someone through to your site is send them off to another website. All that you want them to do when they get there is to pick up the phone, email you, or fill in an inquiry form. So that's really important. Yeah, and don't mention the services. Let's find a family page. What did I put in? Family Law Leicester. Let's go to the family page. Pretend we come through from a. Or is that not going to take me anywhere? Yes. So it looks like I've got to the right page in the end, divorce finance. And small content, no call to action, lots of reviews, but Trustpilot, again, no call to action. There's no reviews sewn into the content. And what you've got to remember is if you're on a mobile device, you're only going to see this column here. You're not going to see the one on the right. And I'm not a fan of two columns of content because you don't know where to go. So you've got to sew in reviews amongst that content to get me to pick up the phone early. And then at the bottom, have that talking call to action, phone us, email us, complete free inquiry, be happy to help. That will make it perform better. So that page could dramatically be improved. Family Law Consultancy, is it law firm? Not sure. Let's have a look at another one. And then if you've got questions, I'll probably come to a questions point before wrapping and making sure you can get back for the afternoon. So here we go. So talking about big boys, Simpson Miller are at the top. And you'll normally see Silverbeck, Reimer, and Owen Mitchell, and what's the other one beginning with S, Slater and Gordon. You'll normally see them up there as well. I used to beat those guys with my client. There was getting a lot of business online from that. Let's go to one of the sites. Let me just do it down here. Let's see who's at the bottom as well. Bike Lawyer. So then, well, that's a great example, actually. So we've put in personal injury Manchester. The Google ad should match the search term. So this, the bitelawyer.co.uk is obviously got too many keywords targeting in their ad group. So I should only see an ad for Bike Lawyer if I type in motorbike accident or motorbike claim. But to be honest, they're all sold up with brokers normally anyway. But that's a different story. But if I type in personal injury Manchester and I don't see personal injury in Manchester in the ad, the click-through rate, meaning for every 100 times someone puts in personal injury Manchester and sees my Bike Lawyer ad with no mention of personal injury or Manchester, only one person, maybe if that, will click through. So 1% click-through rate, that's really low. You're looking for 5, 10, 15%, which then gets your costs much further down. So you would have a personal injury Manchester ad group, personal injury Liverpool ad group, personal injury Bolton ad group, and then you'd have work accident Manchester, work accident Liverpool, work accident Bolton. Then you'd have accident at work Manchester, accident at work Bolton. Because if you match the keyword and the landing page perfectly, then you end up with much better performance always around. You get more clicks. More clicks means more inquiries, means more work for you. I'm going to try and find a domain that I can type in rather easily, but it's not looking very possible. They're all quite long. Okay, well, let's just go for one anyway. Last example, simpsonmiller.co.uk, Reading, leading personal injury solicitors. Oh, so close. Right, so this is their landing page. So we put in personal injury solicitors, Manchester, leading personal injury solicitors. That's good. Not got Manchester on there. We've got a free phone number. A cookie code at the bottom. Yeah, hey, good stuff. And that's easy to get rid of, but I'm getting straight to the content. I always find it odd when a solicitor doesn't have the word solicitors right beneath their logo, because that tells me I'm in the right place, I'm safe, I'm in a good space. So I definitely do that. They're using Trustpilot. I can go off the site straight away. So I spent money. That would have cost them, if I clicked on it, that would cost them at least £20, maybe £40 just for the click. I land on the site, I go off to Trustpilot, and then I find someone else. So I wouldn't be doing that. We need the word Manchester in here. Friendly team. Not a fan of white content on black background. It's a bit old school. But we've started off really nicely talking, saying our friendly team, not about the client. We should probably say, if you've been injured in an accident in Manchester, you want to make sure you have the best personal injury solicitors on your side. Then it's all about the client, not about Simpson Miller, about them. So you want to, and then you lead into how you help. But I like that the talking tone is nice. Dedicated serious injury team, and then we've gone to bullet points, which I would carry on with reasons to choose Simpson Miller for your personal injury claim. We believe these are the main, or we are told by clients, these are the main reasons that people use us: free consultation, a bit formal, free inquiry. And then let's go down. Now we've gone from one column of content, it's changed style there. Now we've got pictures in the middle of the page. It's not a talking call to action. It should be make a free personal injury inquiry, call us on this number, or make a free inquiry. And then the reviews. But again, you really want those reviews sewn in amongst the content. So on a mobile, all I'm saying is this bit, there should be a review within the top third of the page and an early call to action. And then you've got the early call to action. And then you repeat that as the page goes on. So that's my live bit. One of the things, even if you're not thinking about, hopefully a couple of things from this, and if you've got questions, please pop them into the chat box now, and I'll be glad to answer them. If you want me to look at your website, pop the URL in there, and I'll do some quick website reviews as well before we close. But if two things you could take from this, even if you're not interested in pay-per-click, but if you want more clients, you very much should be. At the end of every page, I mentioned several times on those examples, there's no talking call to action. You have to have a talking call to action. If you just have a bullet point with phone number, email, you'll get less inquiries. I know from testing this. So even if you just change that and then spend some time on your Google My Business listing, that is just phenomenal. There's a real opportunity there. And what's great is, as you saw from that, very few solicitors have got more than 4 or 5 reviews. If you follow my process and collect reviews consistently and get to 40, 50, 100, 200, I think David's at 250 or more, because he's so good at that stuff. Then it makes a heck of a difference, because remember I said that sort of holy grail position you're looking at, you want someone to see you at the top of Google Ads, in the organic listings, and then your Google My Business page with all of those wonderful reviews. Then you're going to get some inquiries, then your phone will really ring. So it's a very good thing to do. I'm going to come to have a look at some sites now. Thank you for putting those in there. I'm going to give you resources in a day or two, which will be the slide deck, a recording of this video, and I'm going to give you my detailed guide to pay-per-click. give you the opportunity to set up a call with me if you'd like for me to live review your Google Ads. And let's have a quick look through these live. I'll try and do them all. If I can't, by all means, get in touch and I'll do a personal one for you. So well done, we've got solicitors. Big heading, which I make small. I want people to get to the content. It's the content that sells. And the word consultation, I've said, I've tested it, make a free inquiry, it tends to work better. Let's go down, areas of practice, immigration. Let's go to one of the service pages, because the home page isn't so important for me, because I just want people to get where they're going to quickly. So you should have your list of services, land on the page, because if I land on your home page, then I know who you are normally. And then we need more content on here to persuade people that we're specialists, and to ensure that they know what we do and that we really are experts. On the previous webinar, I went into the details of what you need on your website more. So if you haven't seen that, by all means, let me know and I'll send you the recording of it. But we need more. You need content to persuade people of expertise. I'd keep that content in one column so that I'm reading down. I'm not. If you think about how you read a newspaper, you don't jump about from left column to right column. And this is all design. Designers love this, but I know it doesn't work as well in terms of making a phone ring. So I frequently upset designers and tell them they can't make a pretty site. They have to make a site that works and is easy to read and easy to generate inquiries. I love upsetting web design companies, but what you have to remember is that they're in it to make a design that they're happy with. They don't tend to focus on what their clients want, and they don't care if your phone doesn't ring. I only care if your phone rings. That's the only point of your website. If your phone isn't ringing enough, then your website's not working. That phone number should be hyperlinked, so I could click it from my desktop and open Skype. That's the final comment that I'll make on there, but making the content more detailed, sewing in reviews, having talking calls to action will make a big difference to that site for sure. No, I don't want to go there. Let me go here. Next site review. Question, just while this site loads, is location crucial in Google Ads? I suppose like any of these questions, it depends. So if you want local clients and your clients are particularly keen on local service, then yes, and you can target very locally. Personal injury for years has not been a local service. I think with lockdown and COVID and people using Zoom, it's been very clear that that's not so essential either. So, you know, it doesn't need to be. What I would always say is if you've got a limited budget for Google Ads, just promote locally first. If you find you soaked up all the inquiries that you can locally, then by all means go further afield. But you will naturally, if I'm in Bristol and I type in Bristol and I see a firm that is just in Bristol, it's ticking every box. If I'm in, say, Swindon, a bit further away, and I see Bristol, I'm thinking, what if I need to pop in and see them? It's a bit of a hassle. So it's not. It will just improve conversion. So definitely. Sandeep, start local, and you can always go out afterwards from there. So we've landed on Venters. Next review, family, international family mediation. So it looks like to heavily family bias. Let's go straight to family then. Where's that one that won't let me click? That's a non-clickable link. I always like a clickable link because I'd always click on the first page I think of as the landing page. But that won't let me click on it. But I have a general family law landing page. Let's go to children then. And we've got sub pages, that's fine. One column of content's quite wide. No reviews sewn in, which I definitely do. No talking call to action. Get to the end of the step. If I like what I see, if I've read a review up here that says, Vector's brilliant, great service, looked after me really well, I read and think, okay, they're worth a call. Phone us on this number, complete a free online inquiry, or email us at this address, because I'm not going to scroll back up here or here. And I don't want to make a free call back. I want to make a free inquiry. Let's say it just seems to work better. That's a cute picture. Let me do, I think we got a couple more. Any perfect website examples? Let me just, I'll come back to that question. I'll do one more review. And then if you haven't been reviewed and you'd like to be, just ping me an email in response to one of my emails, send the resources and I'll review for you. Cookie policy bigger than some and at the side, interesting. TV Edwards, solicitors and advocates, let's have a look. services. Well, impressed with that navigation because it's alphabetical. So I always like to see that. It's the only logical way for visitors. The design's nice. I probably have a separate navigation for probate because I'm looking for probate and I'm not looking for wills. So I might miss it in that navigation. That's a common thing solicitors do, but I'd have wills and probate. Let's go for the first service we've got listed. Nice subheadings, breakdowns. Telephone number not hyperlinked. Email is hyperlinked, so that's good. No reviews sewn in, a bit more content needed, and some images. It says meet the team. I'd be inclined to sew in pictures of the team. We've got Felix Council mentioned there, but have a picture on most pages because it helps with Google organic search, but it also helps with human behavior. We are conditioned to look at images, and so if we see someone there, it's a tick in the box for all sorts of reasons. So that's 5.2. I'll stop the reviews. Let me have a link to the previous webinar on website conversion. Yeah, if you just email me, I'll send that to you. Could I get, that's a couple of questions. Any perfect website examples you can recommend? No, because they're different for each one. The format is the most important thing. So the one that's working best now is not my legal site, my other site, which is a 2-column design, content on the left, calls to action on the right. I run a marketing business, so it's a nurture business. So I want people to download my guides. So that's the focus for me, although I will always offer, as you see, I sew in review. So everything I'm telling you, I practice what I preach. Phone number or make a free online inquiry. It doesn't say free consultation. So that layout for me is the best one. If you're on a mobile, you're only going to see this column anyway. If you are on a desktop, you get this extra column where I call it the conversion column, where you see things that make you think, oh, okay, this sounds worthy of a bit of time. Would dice where you take on a client that's gone from one firm of lawyers to another? I'm not quite sure what that one means. I'm not sure I understand that question. If you want to clarify, by all means. Otherwise, David, did you want to come back in and say a few words? Are you still there?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to see someone stay till the end. Thank you. Always a pleasure when you do that and there's still someone there.
Okay. Yeah, I do want to just say a few words, if I may. I'd just like to reiterate something Nick said earlier about he was using my business as an example with pay-per-click, and I was one of those that I really didn't think it would work. I didn't think solicitors would actually click on an ad. So until that point, I really worked hard on the website to make sure that we're number one on page one for all of the relevant search rankings, and we have been for quite a long time. But adding the PPC has worked for us on Google. We also tried doing pay-per-click on Microsoft, what used to be called Bing ads. That didn't work at all. We didn't get a single inquiry, so that was a complete waste of money. So I think Google is certainly the one to focus on if you are going to do this. Number two, Nick, have to pick you up on the number of reviews. DG Legal, it's nothing like 250. It's over 400.
It's more now, is it? Yeah, okay.
And that's, I don't know if you mentioned it, Nick, but the reason why we're so obsessive with Google reviews is because it's part of the formula, the algorithm that gets you up the rankings, etc. So it's a good way to differentiate yourself. And this is the point that I've made to DWS solicitors. And when I first started working with them, they had about 10 reviews, and they've now got, I don't know, it's probably almost a couple of hundred or so. Best sites, well, I'm going to be cheeky and say next week our site, because we've got a new site going live, and we've put quite a lot of work into it, so I hope that's going to do well.
But on that point, David, just for everyone else's benefit, I've had to push certain things with David because the web design company want to do it exactly the way they want, as they always do. And the first company wouldn't budge. And so David cleverly said, right, I'm going to go to a different company. This happens all the time with web companies, and you have to put your foot down because a good website can change your business. A bad one will just damage it and won't bring you the work. You should have a site producing inquiries for you.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, though, Nick, that what puts a lot of people off doing a really great website is that it is quite a lot of work, to do it right and to please the marketing guy, i.e. Nick, and to keep the website design people on board is a challenge, you know, but you've got to do it if you want to be successful. I am going to make a suggestion in terms of best sites, because when I'm coaching the retainer clients on how to get to the top of Google, I use different search terms. And one of the favorite ones I use, just to showcase a really good site, is London Immigration Barrister, because then you'll come across Richmond Chambers, they'll be #1 ranked, and you'll see they've also got about 400 reviews and so. And the website is really clean and good looking and has lots of content. So that's a pretty good example. It's one of the best ones
That one
I've come across. Yeah.
So it's 428, nice. And yeah, I'd say the header image could be smaller. Let's go to one of the pages. Let's go for this.
They've got lots of content, which is one of the main parts.
That always helps. Yeah, at least it's one column. It's easy to read. Subheadings are broken it up. No reviews sewn in there, and no talking call to action. So it could definitely work harder for them.
Yeah,
that bit's good.
And yeah, you know, the thing that I'll end on is that I've met a lot of marketing people in the legal industry, because I've been in the area for 25 years, and a lot of them do talk a good game, particularly good at conferences and sales, etc. Nick tends to be the other way around. You don't see him at many events and conferences, but he is really good at what he does.
It's not easy life marketing, that's why. Too much effort.
Well, look, I'm conscious that we've just come up to the hour, so I'm going to finish on this. Firstly, thank you very much for attending. I really do hope you got something useful out of there, or it's given you a bit of a nudge. I hope you're able to come to some of our other webinars. We've got a really important one coming up next week on the 22nd of March, called Working Options in the UK After the Transition Period. So we're going to have a very good barrister called Natalie Wilkins from Garden Court North, who will give practitioners an overview of the main options for working in the UK following the end of the transition period. Okay, so that would be of relevance, I think, to many, many practitioners. Okay, I think I'm done. Thanks again to all of you for attending. Thank you, Nick Jervis, for your presentation.
Thank you.
And I think it's for you, Nick, to end the session.
Yeah, thanks to everyone. Thank you for all the notes coming through. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you all, and have a lovely afternoon. I'll be sending out resources in the next day or two, the recording. And for those of you that asked for it, if you email me, I'll send you the link to the other recording as well. I know it's there somewhere. Nice to meet you all. Have a good afternoon. Goodbye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.